Hello you guys, it's Grace, and today I'm going to be wrapping up February. So February wasn't really a huge reading slash buying month for me, so I thought I'd include my wrap up and my haul in one video. So hopefully that is nice for you guys. It should be a pretty short video. I only bought 2 books this month and only finished 3. So we're gonna jump right in. The first book I bought this month is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Anyway, this book follows a girl named Scarlett, and her sister end up on this wild journey to see Caraval because it's something they've both wanted to go see since they were very young. And she writes Master Legend, who is kind of he's in charge of Caraval. So she writes him letters for 7 years and he never responds until the last letter, where she's finally just like, you know what, like I'm engaged, so don't worry about it anymore. Sorry about this. And then he finally responds and gives them 3 tickets into Caraval. And it's kind of crazy and really exciting and wonderful. And I highly recommend it to you. That's all I'm going to say about it, because you'll hear more about it in my wrap-up. So be watching out for that at the end of March. But anyway, this book is beautiful, inside and out. Just look at it. It's just so shiny and pretty. The next book I bought this month, it actually came in a subscription box for my dog, so I'm not going to talk too much about it, but it's How Smart Is Your Dog? Test Your Pet's IQ. So, yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's just full of little tests you can do with your dog to test how smart they are. So it's kind of fun, and I thought I'd just show it to you guys because I did get it this month, even though it's just like a little thin, fun little book. Alright, so those are the only 2 books I got this month. I've already bought 10 books, and it's only the 9th of March today, so my March haul should be pretty fun for you guys. But in the meantime, I'm going to talk about my February wrap-up. Alright, the first book I finished in February is this honkin' book. It is It by Stephen King. Yeah, it's over 1,000 pages. Whew. So this book was definitely a chunk to read. It's really, like, I don't know what to think of this book. I was just kind of like, well, I like the story and it's kind of spooky and kind of fun to read, but it's so long that I got kind of tired of it. I have that problem with any book over like 800 pages. I start to kind of just, I'm kind of done with this book. So anyway, this book follows a group of kids, and then later in the book they're adults, and it follows them as they try to defeat this creature they call It, which is basically their biggest fear personified. So it kind of changes shape for all of them, and then if one of the children can see a certain shape, then all the other children can see the same shape. So it's kind of fun. I've always wanted to read like a horror novel and wanted to read a Stephen King book, so I read this for my English class in February, and it was an experience, I will say that. So I was just kind of like borderline with it. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. So, you know, it was kind of just an experience. It took me 20 days to read it, so it was kind of painful. 50 pages for 20 days. Just, yeah, got sick of it. But, you know, not bad. I recommend reading a Stephen King book. The next book I finished in the month of February is The Infinite Sea by Rick Yancey. After I finished it, I was just looking for anything else to read. I was sick of everything that involved it. So I was like, alright, let's just pick up a book that I've been wanting to read for a while and get it done, because I finished The Fifth Wave last year and I kind of was in a reading slump and just didn't want to pick up the rest of the series, so I finally finished the rest of the trilogy this month, and I didn't like the second 2 books as much as the first book. I gave The Infinite Sea a 3.5 out of 5 stars, so not horrible. I still enjoyed it. I enjoy the storyline, and I like this apocalyptic kind of stuff. It's kind of fun to read about, but I read it in a kind of time we had some kind of family stuff. You know, not the best reading month. I just couldn't really get into books after that happened, and just, you know, like it was good. Wasn't great. I enjoyed it. There were a couple parts that had me kind of like giggling and excited, but for the most part, I was just kind of like, you know, it's a book. It's something different. It's short and doable. So I did enjoy it, but not as much as I probably could have or would have. The next book and last book I finished in February is The Last Star by Rick Yancey as well. This is the third book in the Fifth Wave trilogy, and I gave this one a 2.5 out of 5 stars. This one, I wasn't sure why the author wanted to make this a trilogy. I feel like a lot of people feel like, oh, well, it has to be either a standalone or a trilogy, which is why I love duologies so much, is because it's like really nice to just have 2 books and just have the story not stretch on for 3 books, because I feel like a lot of trilogies do that. They just kind of stretch on and you don't really need 3 books, but they're just like, well, we're gonna make them 3 books because The Hunger Games was 3 books and Divergent was 3 books, so everything has to be 3 books because 3 books is just where it's at. So I felt like that's kind of what this was. It was just not enough stuff happening in all 3 of the books. Like the first book I really enjoyed. I gave the first book 4.5 out of 5 stars and really enjoyed the first book, even though it took me a while, but that's okay. These ones just, they were shorter, but it was like, why are they here? Like, honestly, I feel like he could have wrapped up everything in the first book, just made it longer, or made a duology, and it would have been fine. Like, he didn't need to write 3 books, in my opinion. Also, I just couldn't really get into the story. I wasn't a fan of the relationships in it. Like, Evan Walker and Cassie, I don't ship it. I'm not a fan. Like, everyone's like, but they're so cute together, especially after they see the movie. They're like, oh my gosh, so cute together. I couldn't do it. I wasn't a fan of their relationship and also other relationships in the book. I was kind of like, what? And then the end of this book, I hated the end of this book. Like, I probably would have rated it higher if it ended differently. I just couldn't do a sad book at the time that I read this, so the ending really just threw me off and I wasn't a huge fan of it, but, you know, the story overall was good, and I do recommend this trilogy to a lot of people. Like, there are definitely people out there who really enjoy this trilogy and would probably like the romances, but for me, it just wasn't what I was looking for at the time. I really just wanted to pretend that there were no second and third books and just read the first book and call it good. I've already finished 2 books also now in March, so you'll hear me talk more about those later. But you have to wait a while. So anyway, I will be making a few more videos soon. I might have some unboxings because I purchased 10 books and they'll be coming in the mail soon, and I love unboxings. Actually, 3 of them got here today. Forced myself to wait. So anyway, you'll probably be seeing that pretty soon as well. Alrighty, I will see you guys next time. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Comment below what books you finished or bought in the month of February, and subscribe to my channel so you never miss another video. I'll see you next time. Bye!